This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. The Big O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear. If If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty, welcome aboard. Yes, sir. Good evening, boys and girls. We told you that today we would be rocking a little bit this evening and talking a little Dolphins football as the boys just wrapped it up against the Bucks. Good job today, right? I mean, this is one of those games, you know what it reminded me of when I was watching this game? And this is the cool thing about basketball, that it's become a year-round type of sport. And it's gotten to the point with basketball that we love watching the summer league, right? Because we see young guys come out of nowhere. And so hardcore fans, right? And so normally, right, fans will tell you, well, wait a minute, hold on a second. Who the hell cares about preseason football? And it's game one where a whole bunch of guys are going to sit down. And I think there's about a minute left now in the game. And right now Miami's winning 26-24. And it's one of those games where when you look at it, you say, this is pretty cool. At least we're watching some guys come out of nowhere. You know, Skyler has been already flashing the last couple of weeks. We've talked about him here on the show as he's done a really good job overall of making plays with his arm. And it looks like somebody that's developing. And it's fun to see Lynn Bowden Jr. come from the dead. Solomon Kinley, welcome aboard, Mr. Pulling Man. I mean, he was pulling all over the place. You know, so let me look over my notes in my notebook, which, by the way, the Dolphins gave us, which was very, very nice. Very nice. The Dolphins. Larnell Coleman, give the man. He started off ugly, and then he started to play even better. And on that touchdown by Skyler, he had a nice block where he led the rusher to the outside. Let's see. Sam Egwavon really had a rough one. He got the fumble for a touchdown. We'll get into that later on. You're seeing more of Tanner Connor out there. You know, it's a lot of fun to see some of these young guys, and that's what it reminds me of. For those of us, look, the people that are watching this right now, the folks that are finishing up the game, which there's a minute and 4 seconds left in the game right now. You know, if you're watching it, you know, it's one of those where you're watching it because you're hardcore at this point. You're watching it with a minute left. Tampa has the ball, by the way. I've got the end of the game going on, but this is a meaningless preseason game, but I was excited to talk about this game because what people don't realize is there's a shit ton of storylines that I'm going to bring up now when we talk about all of this, okay? And let me see what we got. Yes, by the way, big Inter win. Pozuelo, two goals. This is not a Inter Miami postgame show, but they're going for a playoff spot, so that was big. Okay, and whoever mentioned it there, I just saw it in passing. You got my heart because you know I want Inter to do well. But I see Sebastian Alvarez is number one. Wow, I've never seen that name number one. Gus 1388, always a rock. Josh Greenwell, Sebastian Alvarez, Bentley, Batman's Pops. It's Skyler time. You're not hiding him anymore in the practice squad. Jeffrey's corner, DJ Gallagher, always there. And our Gallagher's always here also, DJ. Thank you, sir. Tyon, Josh Hart, Trill Williams. Jizzy made a nice tackle and got her. Yeah, I know. Hopefully it's not too serious, you know. Oh, did we get a pick there? No, did he catch it? He did catch it, the bastard. They've got it down to the 31, by the way, and they're trailing by 2. And both of these kickers can hit it from like outside of the stadium. So they're kind of how about Jason Taylor? Or the Borgalis one. Where'd he go? The U. John Santos is in, Cap for life. GP Trap always here. Alan in. I like it. Heat Fins. You guys are actually amazing. You say the Trill one looks bad. Well, let's hope it's not too bad, bro. I mean, the Zach Martin one, right? They thought it was going to be really bad, and then so let's just hope. Let's just hope. Yeah, Austin Jackson's look good, man. There's a lot of good things to report on the offensive line, and even Larnell Coleman as a swing guy, because you need a swing guy. And that's developing also a little bit. I mean, listen, we had the Iggy stuff was not good. There was no progress with Iggy this week. So it's one of those deals where you got to worry about that. So we will find out. What did you think of JT committing murder of Dion? I mean, hey, man, you got to call things like you see it. You know what I'm saying? Props to JT calling it like he sees it there when it comes to, Dion Jordan, and if somebody said that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, a long time ago, somebody wrote that they should trade Dan Marino when they got Scott Mitchell. So things are said. Sometimes, when they tell you, they should eliminate the name of the Hurricanes because of, the hurricane we just got hit with. There are always things that are said and regretted, and it's just over time, and some of them live in infamy, and they stay there forever. So if somebody said that Dion Jordan was going to make people forget about, Jason Taylor, somebody said once that I think doesn't want to be owner of the team anymore, said maybe Chad Henne will be as good as, or the next Dan Marino or something. Remember that? Or didn't he say also that Philbin might be our next Don Shula or something? Or there was a Gase. Either way, say no. Say no. Put down the crack pipe. Okay? Just put down the crack pipe. Anyway, Big O, are you going to do more shows with Dudley? Of course I'm going to. We talked. I talked with Dudley. We're going to do 2 shows a week. Okay, one on his channel, one on my channel every week. So we're gonna come back and forth. We'll recap 1 week on his channel, then we'll preview 1 week on my channel. We'll recap on my channel. We'll preview on his. That kind of stuff. So we'll have some fun with it throughout the year. So you'll get double Big O, double Dudley together. How about that? How do you like them apples? Right, that are there. Okay. So I love that. McDaniel looks good in the sidelines, man. What a breath of fresh air. Yeah, that's the other thing. I thought, let's get into this. There's 3, 2, 1 second gone. The game is over. They missed the field goal. So they. I'm sorry. Does JT come back with the same comment about Borgalis? I'm just saying. We got to have some fun here, right? I mean, right? Is he going to say, what university did he go to now? Anyway. All right, so the game is over. Miami has won the game 26-24. just an outstanding win. They're going to the Super Bowl. They're probably going undefeated. It'll be more impressive because it'll be 17-0. No, let's just chill out. Let's just have some fun here. First of all, let's break down some stuff. All right. Let's now that the game is actually over, we can actually talk about the game and talk about a little bit about overall what we saw. And when we talk about the structure of the game, and that's considering it was his first game out, I thought that Mike McDaniel had a solid, it's not a game plan, but a solid presentation. The team wasn't, and remember, you've got a lot of guys coming off the bench. You've got a lot of guys that aren't going to be on this team. You've got a lot of new faces. And considering that this wasn't one of those games where you had a whole bunch of mistakes, actually. And I thought that was actually cool. So you didn't have your mistakes. So now you're good, right? Overall, Skylar Thompson, you're playing with your third quarterback. Your third quarterback looked pretty effing prepared. Okay? Let's remember the memories and the ghosts of Pat White. I've seen Josh Heupel. I've seen some ugly, ugly stuff. Okay? And Skylar Thompson, for a third-string quarterback, was well prepared for this game. He made a couple mistakes, which he's supposed to make mistakes. He's a young man. He's a 7th-round pick. He's a nice project. You know what I'm saying? But overall, I love what I saw from the kid. I thought he was composed. I thought the line, this has been a sore spot for all of us. Okay, and I'll tell you, there's only one thing that I'm disappointed in with Mike McDaniel today. Can I tell you what it is? He didn't play Connor Williams. And because of the snapping issues, don't play him a lot. But I would have played him for a series or two just so we can get a couple of live snaps in the game. And you don't need two to play. You don't need a Bridgewater. You only need a snap and block. And he held up Vita Vea this week on one-on-ones. So the blocking part, he's fine. Connor Williams is going to be absolutely fantastic. But I would have played. That's the only thing. If I had to nitpick a little bit on a terrific night by Mike McDaniel, I would say play Connor Williams because he hasn't been clean in the snapping. I would have liked him to just a little live action. Just a little bit. Let him crack a little bit of a sweat. That's what I would have done with him overall. But I love that the team showed some structure. Your third string quarterback was well prepared. Your offensive line, which has been a sore spot, you started to see bright spots. Larnell Coleman looked like he didn't even belong in the league last year. All of a sudden, he's winning one-on-ones against the Bucs. And today, started off a little shaky, but then right away got back on track and had a terrific block and protected Thompson on that touchdown to the right side. That was actually really cool. Solomon Kinley, a guy that's kind of been forgotten. Today was the day of the forgotten man. Lynn Bowden Jr., you're the forgotten man. Whoa, you woke up. Solomon Kinley, forgotten man. Whoa, you woke up. A couple guys that we were starting to leave them for dead, and those guys kind of resurrected their spots on the team right now. The coaches said, whoa, you see that? You see that guy? And so now we're taking notes. So there you go. Now you've kind of moved up on the reps. You've kind of moved up on the attention. Now maybe they'll rip you a little bit more, because when the coaches aren't ripping you and they don't care about you, it's because they gave up on you. But you start to look around at some of the things that went on, and young players were performing. Young players were getting better. Positions were getting better. And to me, I thought that was actually a really cool thing to see some of these guys that some weren't performing well under prior coaching, offensive line, watching some of these guys maybe start growing up under this coaching staff, maybe even a Lynn Bowden Jr., watching a Skylar Thompson who has, all of a sudden become a nice little find here in the preseason. And I was actually shocked that they gave him the entire game. I thought that was actually a shocker. And then I said, really cool. Because the thing about the Skylar Thompson thing, which again, kudos to Mike McDaniel. What do you get playing Teddy Bridgewater? You risk injury, right? So if this kid's young enough and bright enough and you can trust him enough, you'll play him for the 4 quarters. Well, guess what? They trust him enough. They thought he was bright enough. And clearly he didn't go out there and look like he was completely out of place. He goes out there and he shines. And then another smart move by Mike McDaniel. Why am I going to play Teddy Bridgewater? I need Teddy Bridgewater for the regular season just in case something happens to Tua. Here's an experienced guy that can help keep us afloat. So I already know who the hell Teddy Bridgewater is. I've watched him for years in the league. I don't need to see him in a meaningless preseason game. Let me watch Skylar Thompson. And that was really, really smart. Okay, now you watch Skylar Thompson. So overall, I got to give Mike McDaniel an A-. Okay? I don't give him an A+ only because I wanted Connor to get a couple snaps because I just have not seen enough from Connor on the snapping side to feel good about that. So I need that from Connor. But that's the only thing that I would say that I would knock with Connor, would be that. Okay? Now, overall, A-, love it. Okay? I doubt Joe Shad's going to give him an A. Now let's talk about Skylar. Skylar Thompson has to be talked about because he's kind of the star of what happened tonight. And what I love about what we saw with Skylar Thompson is, one, the front office might have found themselves a nice little talent. And a lot of things happened today, some of them good, and one of them is bad, right? But it's bad, not bad meaning bad, no, bad not meaning bad, but bad meaning good or whatever. Remember that Run DMC song, like I'm dating myself? Anyway, the bad stuff is you can no longer hide them on the practice squad. And we talked about it this week. And I know most of the writers that I brought on, they kind of say, yeah, oh, yeah, you're crazy. Yeah, sure. They're going to, yeah. He's and sure enough, here you go. We're here. He has outperformed a 7th rounder. He has outperformed a position on a practice squad. You no longer can hide him, but that's a good thing. When your buddy tells you, oh, shit, dude, we shouldn't have played him. Now we can't hide him. Well, dude, guess what? What about if somebody just saw a little something from him? Because every fan in the world films practice and puts it out there. The media can't. We can't film it and put it out there. We get in trouble. We get stripped of our media credentials. You guys go to practice and put everything out there for everybody, right? So they see a couple of the throws they like from Skylar, and all of a sudden they say, let's pluck them. So for your buddy, I'm going to give you the ammunition right now because you're going to be the smarter guy in the room here when it comes to Dolphins football. And when your buddy says, shit, we shouldn't have played him, we could have hit him. Yeah, well, what about if somebody snatches him from the practice squad now? Now, it's better to play him. Let's find out what we got. And it looks like you got something there that you can't stash in the practice squad anymore, ladies and gentlemen. The kid's got a wicked arm for our Bostonians out there. So he can make any throw, and he makes some throws that will wow you. And he does it in practice where he sneaks into these small windows. And yeah, there are times where it's erratic and he doesn't know where it's going. And then you go, okay, that's why he's a 7th rounder. He's not a polished product, but he has shown you enough that you have to say, okay, we got to keep him. Now, let's get into, by keeping Skylar, I'm going to open your eyes on multi-level things that happen if you have to keep Skylar on the 53-man roster. Are you ready for this ride, ladies and gentlemen? And I thank my lovely wife for a little honey and lime. Okay, there are two roads that we have to worry about now, with Skylar possibly earning a 53 spot on the 53-man roster. One of them is good, okay, and the other one gets a little bit more complicated, all right? So first of all, let's go through the good stuff. One, if you keep him on the 53-man roster, he's probably way more athletic than Teddy Bridgewater. So now you can use him on some Wildcat stuff. And because he has a wicked arm, okay, you can actually use him for Hail Mary. So at the end of a half, at the end of a game, you need somebody to chuck an 80-yarder out there. This kid has got a wicked arm, and he's going to just unload it, okay? And he's probably can throw a little farther than Tua and definitely Teddy. Both Tua and Skylar have stronger arms than Teddy. So you could keep them around for different things now, so you can use them in that sense. Okay. Now, the other thing is, if this guy earns a 53-man a spot on the 53-man roster, he gets to sit in a room with Teddy. He gets to sit in a room with Darrell Bevel. He gets to sit in a room with Tua. He prepares every day. He's going to get some kind of reps. They're going to use him with some kind of plays or something, so they'll keep his head in the game. Meanwhile, he'll be also getting better as a quarterback and a backup. You trust him now that you let him. You didn't go sign another quarterback. You didn't start Teddy. You didn't play Tua. You said, kid, here's all 4 quarters for you. Here you go. I don't need any change. You're getting all 4 quarters. Go have fun in the arcade. And he went out and he had fun in the arcade. So you trust him. So if you trust him, you think he's smart enough. Now he grows to the point of the trade deadline. Somebody needs a quarterback. Now you can move Teddy Bridgewater for some kind of a middle round pick. Somebody's desperate for a quarterback. Somebody lost a starter for a month. They need Teddy Bridgewater to keep it afloat. You move Teddy Bridgewater. Skylar has developed, and then now you can make him your number 2 quarterback. How do you like them apples? It's a beautiful thing. Now, let's get to the complicated road that Skylar Thompson creates for you. Are you ready for me here? Are you ready to join the ride for me? High IQ football. Let's get on board. Here we go. So if you add Skylar Thompson to your team, you now do something that other teams don't do. You add a 3rd quarterback. You now have killed another roster spot on your team. So the stupid shit that went on last year, when you have Preston Williams on your roster and he doesn't help you on special teams, and Albert Wilson and all these other cats and Sam Egwavon, and we'll get to that, you cannot have one-dimensional players on this roster. Did you watch Lynn Bowden Jr. with that return towards the end of the game? That also the light went on. And I said, God bless you, Lynn Bowden. Not only were you a wide receiver tonight, baby, but you helped them out on special teams. God bless you. That's what earns the 5th and the 6th wide receiver spot. What's going to earn the back end of your cornerback spot? It can't be some idiot that only plays special teams or a guy that's only a corner. If you're on the bench, okay, as Scotty Farrell would say, if you're on the bench, you need to help out on special teams. What happened last year wasted roster spots that you got the guys sitting there going, well, you know, I only play my position. I don't do anything else. No, that doesn't happen anymore. So if you're going to keep a 3rd quarterback, no longer do you have luxuries. So the back end, when we start to watch at how this roster develops, I want you to look and I want you to say, okay, can he help you on special teams also? Because if you're the backup linebackers, you're the backup corners, you're the backup running backs, you're the backup wide receivers, you must be 2-way players. The only way is if you have Jakeem Grant or, whatever over the years, a returner that is just so special that not a lot of people have. Okay, there you go. I know the fumbling stuff pissed some of you. What do you mean, Jakeem Grant? What the hell is wrong with you, oh? That's blasphemous. He's the only Pro Bowler last year. Anyway, so, you that's the only way you keep a one-way player. He has to be so good that you have to keep him. He's Brian Mitchell, any of those special returners over the years, the guys that get on a roll. Okay, you got one of those kind of guys, that's fine. I can understand. Outside of that, by keeping Skyler, the backup players must be able to help you multiply. Okay, so that really creates an issue for you with Skyler. Oh, we got the coach. Let's go. Crank it, baby. Crank it.
Made me nervous up here. So how we doing?
Mike, it seemed like you were leaning toward resting a lot of the starters. So what ultimately led to the decision of what you did?
It's a balancing act. There's a lot goes into it. I talked to the players about it. I waited all the way until Thursday evening to finally stamp it. But I talked to the players on Friday that it wasn't necessarily a punishment or a reward. It was every individual and where they're at, who needs it to perform on week one. You do your best guess. So it is. It wasn't we're just sitting guys because they've done X, Y, or Z. It was more protecting people against themselves, realizing specific positions that guys could get, a little taste of a game and then get them out. So it's a balancing act that we'll continue to do during the preseason to get ourselves best ready for the regular season. Yeah, and just in general, it is not an easy job to play tight end in the offense, and so we thought that it would benefit him to get him in a little bit, but again, we're trying to protect people too, so you're just really trying to manage all those things and having a scope for the whole preseason. We thought it would be good. We wanted to get him a touch and kind of get him orchestrated and hearing the offense, but also protect him. So I was happy before watching the tape. I was happy with the way he played and how he approached it, because again, it wasn't punishment at all. Yeah, I think it made me very happy because that's what I want to see from the team. There's a lot of guys that, not a lot, but there's probably like 16 or 17 that didn't play a snap, that weren't even suited. But what I was happy about was the whole team stayed locked in for their teammates, and they genuinely wanted to win. And you better have a competitive nature in this business to be able to succeed in it. And so it was cool to see that they wanted to finish what they started, so I was happy with that. You're never going to be completely happy with a performance. That's the point of being a coach. The day that you have a perfect game, I feel like we should walk off to the sunset. So I was happy with how they handled adversity. That things didn't go their way. We kind of started behind the 8 ball a little bit. They were running a bunch of pressure. So, we were struggling to get the run game going for reasons, because they were committing to stop it. So I was happy how they responded, and there's a lot we can learn from it. Skyler, it's funny, I have to check myself when certain things will happen during a game or practice, where I'll feel myself getting impatient with him because I've completely forgotten that he's a rookie, but he is a rookie. But to his credit, we rely on him as a veteran. So it's a hard thing in this league to, with a night's sleep, go in as a starter. We were pumped to get him that opportunity. I know he feels like, and we'll all feel like he left a lot of, not a lot, but he left some plays out there. But the biggest thing is we didn't have any turnovers as an offense. I think we had one penalty, so that's something to build on positively. And you can't have those type of statistics there specifically if you don't have efficient, good quarterback play. So it was cool to watch him. He was pumped. He was very salty and every series because he was like mad at himself for whatever happened on the previous series, and that's a good starting point because he didn't shy away from making plays either after he was frustrated. No, so that was one of my favorite parts. Was at the beginning of the game. I thought the operation was a little slow. We were trying to get the play in pretty fast, and I don't know what he was saying exactly in the huddle, but it was just taking a long time to get aligned. So I took the opportunity to go tell him, "Hey, dude, you need to get the guys in and out of the huddle," and he was able to adjust that. He did better with that, while also still taking each play one play at a time. So that was an encouraging thing that you don't know until it's real. There's a lot of rookies out there that I think felt more rookie feelings than he did, and he touches the ball every play. So, happy with that. A lot to get better from, but he's a stud, and we're happy to have him. No, I was just talking to the team about it. Like the receiver position in general, you have so many variables that are compounding for you to get opportunities, which is why I say every he was on the field and he's whether a couple people have mentioned to me that he's maybe had a quiet camp or whatever. All I've seen him do is do his job. So then that sets you up for success when you continually do your job, and then all of a sudden you catch the right coverage or you get the right play call. So I was happy with that, and I think it's a lesson that for a lot of guys to take is to just be ready for your opportunity. I thought he was ready for his opportunity tonight. I don't. We'll always try to defer to. I don't want to start pushing a direction that we try to have science in our statements. So with regard to injury, so that there was some concern, definitely for his lower extremity, but we'll find out more tomorrow. Exactly what it is, but he's a competitor and he did not want to be hurt, and I think that's what you saw from him was emotion that he felt like he was making plays, and this was a setback, but that's all it is. However long it takes him, it's a setback. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to maybe reflect on the plane for like 5 minutes. But really in the moment, I feel such an obligation to the organization, the players, the coaches, that it just felt like I was trying to fixate on what my job was at the time. So I didn't really get. I guess I did feel there were some goosebumps in the national anthem for sure, but you try to do your best to, for me, there was a lot of it that felt like practice. because if you put yourself in the right mindset each and every day at practice should be like a game in theory, right? So I was just focused on doing my job for all the players and coaches in the organization and the beat writers. So that it was cool to get that out of the way so that we can continue to focus on getting better and making everyone the best they can be, for regular season 1. Say corner or quarter? I'm very happy with the group. They've been very competitive, and there's a lot of guys that have really gotten better in the last couple weeks specifically. Now that you get some dings, you have to kind of reassess. Again, you have to figure out exactly the timeline. But I know Chris and his staff. I saw he had his backpack on, so he's probably already started to look at you guys just in case we get unforeseen or really any bad news tomorrow on some lengthy injuries, really. So we'll just be prepared for whatever is dealt, but we'll find out first and foremost what those injuries are and the extent of them, and move forward from there, really. It's hot in here.
All right. There we are. There's the coach. I hope it sounds better. I know that give me the thumbs up there. Does it sound better? I guess we had that whole thing that, in the settings, and you got to change and all that good stuff. Just give me the thumbs up. Make sure we're good before I continue. All right. There we go. All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. Now I'm wondering if I should repeat everything I did, or was it good enough? Sean, give me the thumbs up. Was it all? It's good enough. You can use it. Will you be able to use it?
Yeah, I should be able to use it. It just sounded like you were a little bit away in some things. I mean, you could still hear it. Not crystal clear, but it was clear.
Okay. All right. Good. We don't like repeating stuff here. We kind of like moving on. We prepare, we give you the content, and then we move on and all that good stuff. So there you go. That is the head coach, Mike McDaniel, getting it done. So we talked about the overall performance of the team. I loved what I saw. Oh, by the way, also got to give love. Thank you, Leon Fresco, for those of you that send in the super chats. McDaniel has a better late game field goal juju than Flo. Thank you, Leon. I appreciate you as always. And remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show is the address. That's Cash Big O Show, the address. The show gets the whole donation there. But of course, you can send in the super chat. But of course, YouTube takes 30%. So there you go. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show as always. And if you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line, because there's a lot of chatting going on the Welt and Rayom text line, that's 855-912-1056. You can send your text there. That's 855-912-1056. So we talked overall about the performance. We talked about Skylar Thompson and the positives of keeping Skylar and how he's earned, I think, a spot in the 53 now, and what the effects are, and in multiple ways how it affects. Okay. I'd like to talk a little bit about Lynn Bowden Jr. Congratulations, because for a guy that is pretty much threw dirt on his own grave, when Preston Williams tweeted out his complaints and then Lynn Bowden liked it, you pretty much kind of, you both kind of threw yourselves off the boat. You know what I mean? You kind of jumped off, and it was like, it didn't make any sense, and you weren't making any plays. Nobody was hearing Lynn Bowden's name. And today, 3 receptions, 55 yards, a touchdown. He had a punt return for 26 yards, a kick return for 26 yards. He had a punt return for 18. And let me tell you something about when an animal is backed into a corner, it's going to respond, right? It's going to get nasty, and it's going to fight its way out of that corner, correct? And this is what happens to a human being that finds out that they're about to lose, or they're about to, they know they've got to pick up the race because this person has pulled away from them. And if they don't chug along, they're not going to get there. If they don't pick it up in the second half of the school year, that first half, that grade of yours is, oh man, it's going to end up, you're when you're backed into a corner, right? You got to come up with that thesis, and you got to put it together. And you know what? You screwed up, and then all of a sudden you decided to cram, and you're backed into that corner, baby. Lynn Bowden was backed into that corner. Backed into that. He had to make plays. Preston Williams didn't make plays. Lynn Bowden made plays. Isn't it funny that the guy that liked the tweet of the guy that complained just got him cut tonight? Are you listening to me? Yeah, because as the pecking order now gets smaller, and next week is rehearsal week. So starters and backups are going to play more than anything next week because it's rehearsal. The back end guys are going to get the fourth quarter. So now you're not going to get much time. Now you got the last game. Oh, man, decisions have been made by then. Preston Williams. Oh, my God. The guy that liked your tweet just cut you tonight. And speaking of being backed into a corner for Lynn Bowden, so 3 receptions, 55 yards, and a touchdown, a 26-yard kick return. But he had an 18-yard punt return. You notice that I think it was like inside the 6-5 yard line or something like that. It wasn't the smartest decision to take that punt return, but he made the play. But here's the thing. That dude was backed into a corner that he said, I need to make plays tonight. If I don't make plays, my life here is over. And I get cut, and I don't even know if I get another chance somewhere else. So Lynn Bowden was backed into that corner, and he came out and knocked out that thesis. He came out of that corner like that raging animal, and he just broke out and escaped. He made that last push down that turn 4 and came down the straightaway and just won the race, because he won the race of getting the Dolphins' attention, Mike McDaniel's attention, his receivers coach attention, and the NFL, because he put that on tape. What Preston Williams put on tape tonight? Disappointment at the end of that first half with that body language. Know what I'm saying? So in this world, you better take it. If you keep waiting for it, and we have this world where we have a lot of people who feel entitled, and Preston Williams' frustration last week in a press conference was embarrassing because he lacked awareness, and he's crying, me. And it's like, dude, this is your 3rd year. You had 3 years. You had 3 years. You know what Preston Williams is? Preston Williams is the student that effed up for 3/4 of his school year. And in the final 9 weeks, he realized, oh my God, I buried my grade. And now he's running to the teacher and saying, what can I do? What extra credit? Can I do an extra project? What can I do? And the teacher has to be the dick and say, I'm sorry, I can only give you so much, and the mathematics don't jive. You screwed up for 3/4 of the year. These last 9 weeks mathematically cannot save it. But Preston Williams looks at the teacher and says, oh, you're an asshole. You're not giving me a second chance. No, Preston, you ruined your chances. You had the first 9 weeks. You had the second 9 weeks. You had the third 9 weeks. And now you're choosing the last 9 weeks to make your cut. Bunch of us have been there, right? Anyway, so I'm just telling you, okay? This is what went on tonight. And kudos to Lynn Bowden Jr. And remember what I just told you about Skylar Thompson. If you're forced to keep a third quarterback, the back end of your corners, the back end of your running backs, the back end of your linebackers, the back end of your wide receivers cannot be slapdicks that can't help you out on special teams. And let's now transition into Sam Eguavoen. Sam Eguavoen is a very likable player. He's done a terrific job keeping his career alive from Canada. But he really hasn't done a lot of memorable things in a regular season. You can live off of 4 sacks in the preseason for so long. You can help out on special teams. But if you're going to keep Skylar Thompson, you cannot be solely a special teamer anymore. And if you're going to be a special teamer, you need to be an all-world returner, and then we can keep you. And since Sam Eguavoen is not all-world in anything, it was nice that he was in the right place at the right time. Are you keeping Sam Eguavoen or are you keeping Hodge? Because I've watched Hodge in training camp and he makes plays. Sam Eguavoen he was in the right place at the right Sam time is where he was. Nothing more, nothing less. On one complete drive today, he made every wrong decision, and he cost that team points on that complete drive. He was terrible. He single-handedly buried the Dolphins on that entire drive. Sam Eguavoen is not as good as Larry Izzo was on special teams. Yet, he is as bad as Larry Izzo was on special teams. Okay? Are you listening to me? So he's not a special teamer that, oh my God, all world, we got to have him. And he leaves everything to be desired as a starting linebacker. So that's another thing that I think has kind of run its course. It's a nice story. He's a terrific young man. I just don't see enough substance from Sam Eguavoen, and I see some other young guys. Did you watch Good today? That was good. That was good. Cameron Good. 7th rounder. You watch Cameron Good. You know, I watch Hodge. He's making some plays for me. I'm going to get guys that I think have a little bit more upside, not the guys who have kind of gotten by and have just enough to hang on to the back end of the roster. No, I want a guy that's going to start shining and surprising and going, oh, he's kind of a threat. Sam Eguavoen is not a threat to anything that goes on. Nice player, but if you keep Sam Eguavoen, you're telling me you're not really finishing off your roster. This was a flow guy. So I think it's time to kind of move on and find some other guys. And there's some other guys that are, I don't know, you tell me. A couple guys today that kind of caught my eye, and I can say, okay, you know, there's some meat to the matter there overall, and there's some guys that can help out. Hey, by the way, no turnovers today. No turnovers. Offense did allow 3 sacks, but I mean, okay, considering everything that went on and who the players are, not too bad. Not too bad for an entire game. True Williams, obviously it's kind of scary and it sucks. And that'll be the thing that we're gonna have to see what happens. Good, by the way, had 6 tackles, 5 of them solo. So let me ask you, what you've seen from Cameron Good. Right now, there are nearly 700 people, and I love you all. And please smash the hell out of the like button while you're there and subscribe. Please subscribe. We really need you to subscribe and smash the like button and all that stuff. But there are nearly 700 people. You have a 7th round pick from this draft in Cameron Good out of California, 6'3", 232. If you've gone to camp and you watched him tonight, Eguavon or Good? Eguavon or Good? Tell me right now, Eguavon or Good? What would you do? What attracts you at the back end of that roster? Eguavon or Good? See what I'm saying? So now you've got some guys that you're starting to develop. And it looks like Cameron is winning out big time. And I think that's what you got to start looking at. You got to start changing some of these guys and get this roster better on the back end of it. Tyndall, I think, also started coming around a little bit as the game went on. I like what I saw from Tyndall. Andre Blanco, Tua is just a toddler with pads. That's pretty good. Toddlers win national titles and will take the Dolphins to the playoffs. So, it's all good, bro. The haters are going to be out, and the haters will end up paying the price at the end. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. It's all Cameron Good, baby. That's what it is. It's all Cameron Good. It's all ball bearings. 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. By the way, you can use Miami's own liquor store. That is Liquor Split. Download the app, iOS or Android, Liquor Split. And you can get 15% off your first order. So if you're in Miami or Coral Gables, Liberty City, Overtown, Coconut Grove, Westchester, Flagami, you name it, El Portal, download it, baby. Liquor Split, tap that app, use the code BIG-O15, and you get 15% off your first order. BIG-O15, you get 15% off your first order. Andro Blanco, coming second doesn't win trophies. Yeah, I know. That's true. That's why I think they won the national title in Alabama. That's the good thing. Yeah. So guys come in first in the past, and he'll come in first again. That's the beauty of it all. But that's all right. Once he comes through and once he proves a bunch of people wrong, those of you that hate will absolutely disappear. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that anymore because that's not really what happened tonight. Tonight's a good night to talk about a bunch of things that happened with a lot of young players today. And I think a lot of positive things overall for the foundation of the team and for the Dolphins. I think if you're a Dolphin fan, you're really happy about what you saw today overall because there was a lot of structure. I mean, these people last year couldn't get the play to the quarterback. Okay? This guy just took over and prepared a 7th round pick and made him look like a competent professional, a kid that was not, the moment wasn't too big for him whatsoever. I just think I love what I saw from this team today. Over considering it's a meaningless game, there were still layers to this game that I thought were actually really cool and things that you can build on overall. Let's see if let me go through some of these questions. Oh, by the way, we rip Larnell Coleman. Larnell Coleman is not Preston Williams. Trill Williams, God bless you, man. I hope that left knee is not serious. And let's hope it's, the best possible scenario that can come out of it. But that kid never complained and fought back. Lynn Bowden Jr. never complained and fought back. There's a lot of examples for the rest of us in life because we all do it ourselves, but nobody knows about it, right? But here, this is in public. And this is a great way for little league coaches and high school coaches to show that how you do things, all right, and how you don't do things. Because Larnell Coleman got ripped. Lynn Bowden's like, yo, what the hell? Who are you, bro? What are you doing? And meanwhile, we're now, you look at all these other guys and they're coming through. They're fighting the adversity. Austin Jackson, nobody, not Preston, not Lynn Bowden, well, Trill never got ripped, but nobody's been ripped like Austin Jackson's been ripped. That guy was like thoroughly ripped. And he has stayed quiet. He doesn't point fingers. He doesn't cry like what's Mr. Bullygate? What's the name of that wimp? Damn it, what's the name of that complete wuss? Anyway, you guys know who I'm talking about. But they man up. And they understand what they were put in. And they bounce back. And it's great examples of showing that. Yes, thank you, Jonathan Martin. Thank you very much. We see how not to do things. Preston Williams, Jonathan Martin. And then you watch guys like Austin. You watch guys like Larnell Coleman, who've been the piñatas for us. And somehow or another, they just find a way to get. Tua, you can be Baker Mayfield, or you can be Tua Tagovailoa. The first mention of Watson, Baker Mayfield lost his shit. Tua had to hear about Watson for over a year. Just do your work. Do your job. And while you do your job, you're going to shut a lot of people up in the process. Alex, thank you, sir. He says, Big O, you're super good looking. Keep it up live. Okay, thank you. You are a sick human being. That's all I got to say. I still wonder how my wife even married me. So, that's one of those things. That poor woman. She's put up with a lot. Happy with the performance. Plenty to work on. And maybe even some looking around the league for upgrades at certain positions. We'll see. We'll see. Yo, Dudis. Wooback says John Ross, he can be good, but not on to a standard right now. Not Skyler went up against third strings. Well, no, he went from second string to third from the beginning to the end. I'm not, and Wooback, I'm not hyping down jack shit. I watched him practice against Miami's guys. I watched him against, the Bucks. This kid, give him credit. He's a 7th round pick. I've watched quarterbacks that have come in with much higher pedigree, and they're not even ready to play against anybody. 3rd string, 5th string, last string. Okay, this guy looked better than Pat White, and he was a 2nd rounder. Leon Fresco, thank you, sir, for the love in the super chat. He says, crazy idea. Use Tyreek off edge to block field goals. Yeah, that is no. Leon, you burning the bush right now at this time of night? Did you roll a fatty out there, Leon? You want to send Tyreek off the edge to go block field goals? Yeah, no. No. Let's see. You have a booger, sir, sexy voice. Do I have a booger, sir, sexy voice? I don't know what that means. Booger and sexy. I don't know if they go in the same sentence. Jason Dow says, were you surprised with the success of the play action with the lack of a running game tonight? Should have been better with Hill Waddle in the game. Yeah, I mean, listen, everything's going to be better with Teron Armstead, Connor Williams, Tyreek, Waddle, all these guys in the game, and real game planning and all that. Remember, everything is really vanilla. What's going on right now? So they're not really going all out in game planning and trying to attack whatever they think is a weakness and those kind of, it's kind of straight up football, and it's basic kind of blocking, and they're not getting too technical. So you got to just kind of, it's a great way to kind of measure where people are at, because you're not really complicating things too much. So since you're kind of keeping it basic and both parties kind of know what's coming, it's basically who outperforms who fundamentally. That's kind of what happens in a game like this, because neither side is going to be, thinking up anything exotic or coming up with any exotic blitzes or anything along those kind of lines. Let's see. Skylar has been doing this in practice against Miami players as well. So yeah. Listen, anybody that downplays what Skylar's doing, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about, or you're just being completely ignorant. You got to give the kid a lot of love for what he's done. Doesn't mean he's going to become anything in the NFL. But as a 7th round pick, as a project, it's really, really cool. You got to give the guy love and give him props, because he deserves it. He does. There's no update on Trill right now. They're not going to tell us anything, dude. They're going to wait till tomorrow. They're going to go get another MRI. They're going to get a second opinion, and we just got to hope for the best. That's all. For those of you, just to kind of fill you in on everything that went on today and give you the stats. Skylar Thompson, 20 of 28, 218 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions. Skylar also rushed 3 times for 25 yards, which I thought that was really, really cool that he also used his legs. Myles Gaskin led they could not run. He had that one run, 4 for 27, had the 20-yard run. Dokes, 2 for 4. Salvon Ahmed, 2 for 0. Receiving, Lynn Bowden Jr., we talked about that, 3 for 55 and a touchdown. Mohamed Sanu, 3 for 39. Trent Sherfield had that one nice catch for 33 yards. That was a nice play he made down the field. Cedric Wilson had 3 for 29 also, so he caught all 3 targets. Tanner Connor, by the way, let's talk a little bit about Tanner Connor. 3 for 25. There's a theme. There's a theme developing with the Miami Dolphins, and it's obvious, but then sometimes it's not so obvious how deep it runs. So you got rid of flow. You got rid of certain philosophies that came out the door now. And you had a guy that was kind of cock blocking what was going on with the front office. So the front office, as you can tell, they really wanted to do things a little differently, but Flo did not allow them a lot of times, and sometimes even made them reverse some of the things that they did. So now you got him out of the way, and you got a coach that is ready to coach the players and not necessarily think that he's a personnel director, because Flo thought he was an owner, a personnel director, a coach, a coordinator, a position coach. He was also quality control. He was an assistant trainer. He was the chaplain. He did everything. He micromanaged every damn thing in there and did not allow people to grow themselves at times because he was too insecure about things. So now this guy goes out. You get a secure guy that comes in, wants to coach the players, is what he is. So philosophy now takes over. So they drafted Waddle, and now they go and they trade for Tyreek. They get a really quick a slot guy instead, right? The Azukama kid, you find out he's got a little bit more speed. Now they go and they get these running backs. They got Chase, they got Mostert. You're like, okay, wait a minute. They're adding a bunch of speed all over the place. Here comes Tanner Connor. Who the hell is this guy? Well, wait a minute. We're in training camp. Who the is Tanner Connor? Where's this guy? They're shipping out Adam Shaheen, because they're looking around at their tight end room. They're going, yeah, no, this guy ran track. This guy adds a dimension that no one else has. A dimension we happen to love. A dimension of sight and sound. That is the McDaniel zone. And so the McDaniel zone is about speed. And that's what's going on now. They're trying to add that dimension everywhere they can on the field. If Alec Ingold could run a 4-4 or 4-3, they'd probably use him even more. So the Tanner Connor thing is now another development that's going on. And let me explain why this dimension is also going on. Okay? You have a really intelligent quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa, a hard worker that's going to know the offense. No matter what you saw or heard in the past or any of that, that's all crap. This kid's rock solid. He's going to know the offense, but more than anything, what you learned the last 2 years under a shitty line that couldn't block, no running game, he had no time, he could make quick decisions, right? Right? I mean, you knew last year the ball was going to Waddle, and they still got it done. The entire effing league knew it was going to Waddle, and you still didn't stop Tua getting it to him, and Waddle, you didn't stop him from catching it. And he had under 2 seconds to make a pass, and he did it. And for those of you that don't know jack shit about this, because you talk crap about Tua, he was the least sacked quarterback in the NFL with the worst line and the worst running game and everything. Okay, that's impressive. Meanwhile, Tannehill had 2 running backs, not 1, not 2. All right, he had Foreman along with Henry and a hell of a line, and he led the league in sacks. You're not supposed to lead the league in sacks when you can run the hell out of the ball. That's an oxymoron, by the way. That's a really dumb quarterback. But anyway, that's another story. So here's this guy. He clearly knows how to dodge bullets on a consistent basis with a terrible line that is Swiss cheese. Now the line will be better. Now it'll give him time. But now you've got all this speed on the field. So now you've got all these quick twitch guys. So you're not going to stay with all these guys. They don't possess in the NFL 4 or 5 corners that are going to stay with all this speed on the field. And McDaniel knows it. And that Frankenstein sumbitch is going to draw this up and attack this league with speed. That's what's happening here. And Tanner Connor is another attempt. I don't know if it happens, but it's an attempt at adding more speed to that position. That's the other development that you see going on with the Miami Dolphins. So it is what it is. Andy Squad, let's see. The negative Nellies, Jay Fiedler era all over again. All that talent, not enough under center to a bust. I pray I'm wrong. Yeah, I hope, Andy, I appreciate the super chat, my brother. But to put Tua and Jay Fiedler in the same sentence is asinine. The guy won a national title. He's played at the highest level. He was an All-American coming out of high school. He was recruited by Saban. The other guy went to Dartmouth. You know, it's like sometimes NG squad, I appreciate the listen, I appreciate the support, but sometimes some of you have your head so far up your ass that you really have zero common sense. Zero effing common sense. You know, what people don't realize is people like Angie that clearly are not really smart football fans. What Tua did the last 2 years is it actually shows you that he's a hell of a football player, because under duress on a consistent basis where he never has time to pass, he found a way to win more games than he lost. He found a way to throw more touchdowns than interceptions. He had no coaching, no running game, and he found a way to overcome that. Even his stupid ass coach only had a winning record with Tua, not Fitz, and not Jabroni Brissett, and yet he still wanted to lean over to Jabroni Brissett. And as much as some of you loved Fitz, he didn't have a winning record. He didn't have a better record than Tua. And so if Tua showed you that he can win a national title and win at the highest level with competence around him, a real coach, a real staff, a real program, but he gets here and he can still win without a staff, without any competence, without any leadership. Can you imagine if you actually gave it to him? So to compare him to quarterbacks that have never accomplished anything, it's asinine. And I love Jay Fiedler. I'm a Jay Fiedler fan, man. Love Jay Fiedler. But I know what he is. He's not Tua Tagovailoa. Problem is, in this world, we got people that buy the bullshit all the time. And that's the problem. And there's too many people that spread FUD, and then people like Angie or Angie or whatever, they end up buying it, and you believe the talking heads that talk about Tua, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And they'll be wrong. Just like Bitcoin, just like climate change, whatever. They'll tell you it's not happening, and you're stupid enough to believe it. Go ahead and be stupid enough to believe that climate change isn't happening. And they'll tell you that Bitcoin isn't going to be probably the world's currency. Then you go ahead and you keep believing it. And if they tell you that the blockchain isn't going to be the real internet, you go ahead. You believe the FUD. But that's what goes on in this world. We have too many people that spread lies, and you end up believing the lies. And there's been too much of that with Tua. And that's what's gone on. Nelson, what's up, brother? Check your eyes. Line was not good. Bucks was without entire front seven. They were shaky and leaky early on. After that was third. Yeah, so what? And it's a third string quarterback, and you're supposed to kick ass. I'm sorry, Nelson. Were you expecting a 7-stringer to go up against first stringers and go and dominate them on his first go around? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know what 7 stringers you're drafting, my brother. Come on, man. Let's stay in reality. Okay? For what he's done, for what he is, great accomplishment. And I've watched him throughout the first couple weeks of training camp, and he actually had success too against Tampa Bay. He played well. Devin Jordan, the Zach Wilson injury last night is the exact reason why I wouldn't play Tua this whole preseason. I understand he needs the reps. Oh, yeah. Next week, he plays the rehearsal game. And that's it. He doesn't play week 3. And look how they hit the kid from Philadelphia out of bounds. They knocked the shit out of him, and he got up. Well, he's a tough kid, Jalen Hurts. They knocked the crap out of Jalen Hurts last night. That's the kind of hit I don't want to see. I don't want to see Tua take either. He doesn't need it. And Zach Wilson, man, it wasn't even a contact. It was just cutting. And that can happen at any time. But there was no reason to play him. Look, if Tua had struggled the last 2 weeks and didn't practice well against Tampa, then yeah, you got to play him a little bit. That's why I wanted Connor Williams to play today, because he had not snapped well. So I wanted him to snap a little bit. So there you go. Wow, haters pay premium to be heard tonight. That's right, Karen. Haters love it. Jeff Fernandez says, Big O Gesicki's days are numbered. He looked really awkward trying to block. Yeah, well, that's kind of the test. And maybe they trade him for a draft pick. That might be the case. You never know. You never know. On Cash App, thank you. Let me, Adam Sadowski, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Cash App, very nice of you. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. And if you want to get in there on Cash Big O Show, you can make the donation. Is Hunter Lung getting cut? I doubt he'll get cut. I doubt the Boston College guy. Who went to Boston College? Huh. Anyway, I doubt they'll cut him right away. I think they'll keep him around for at least another year. Yeah, Dieter did a solid job today. The line wasn't bad today. They did a nice job today overall. You gotta give them a little love, man. You know, and your two best linemen did not play. And Larnell Coleman started off a little shaky and then got better. And I thought Austin Jackson played well. Overall, I like what I saw. And Solomon Kinley. My God, Solomon Kinley all of a sudden started pulling like crazy and running over fools. That was good. That was fun. That was fun. I got to say, I really enjoyed this game tonight. Got to say. All right. I think it is time for us to go. Time for us to wrap it up and say goodbye. We appreciate all of you out there as always. We shall see you on Monday. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Fins up.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.